Here is this Katz for real, and this is my 16-hand 5-year-old thoroughbred gelding, and he's doing his very first cross-country school, which is an off-the-property field trip to one of our local cross-country schooling venues, Buckworth, who is very kind to just sort of have an open gates policy. So we snuck over there today, and he had his first cross-country school, and he was amazing. And I apologize in advance because I realize that this video is just ridiculously long, but I just struggle so much to cut these things. If you want to skip to the more exciting pieces, I guess just skip through the first 5 or 6 minutes and then it gets more exciting. I just have a hard time cutting that out of the video because I think it's really cool to see sort of where they start and then where they end up. And so I just enjoy, living through that progression, watching the progression. I think it's just so interesting to see how they can evolve in such a quick period of time, really, when they really want to do the things that you're asking them to do, like Kat does. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. So anyway, here we are. We are out in this little tiny like baby section that they have, which I absolutely love. It's literally like little teeny logs. I don't even think you'd call it a log. They're like baby tree branches. They're the size of ground poles. And they're like in a little circle, and there's a couple of like little teeny jumps like that one. Like, not that they're jumps, they're still the size of a large ground pole. They're just not just logs. They come in a couple of various different shapes, but everything is like literally 12 inches or less off the ground. And I like it because it's a totally easy, approachable way to get these guys started and thinking about all the things that we're going to do. And Cat is a pretty enthusiastic jumper. He tends to make an amazing form. He really likes to jump, and so he's enthusiastic about it, which is great. However, I don't want him over jumping, a 1 foot high tiny log on the ground before we go and jump other things. So when we started doing this, he was over jumping these teeny little things like that thing there. And so I basically was just going to keep circling around, jumping these little tiny jumps until he was hopefully not jumping them at all, or at least not over jumping them. Like, ideally to me, he's in a good mindset to go on and do other things when he's literally just stepping over them. I guess if he's making a little jump shape, that's fine. But literally, if he's just trotting over it like it's a ground pole, I'm totally cool with that too. So while he just jumped that little teeny hut thing all cute and it makes a beautiful picture, it's too much exuberance for such a little teeny tiny jump. So I'm just trying to get him to understand that he can sort of cool it, like save it a little bit, because we're hopefully at this point, I'm thinking we're going to go on and we're going to do more exciting things. So like, let's get this under wraps. This shouldn't be exciting. So that was better. That was less of an overjump. And then that's perfect. That's what I want. Just trotting over a little log. This is no big deal. And then that was better. The time before that, he way overjumped that little teeny thing. And so that was less of an overjump. So now I'm like, okay, we're getting there. I'm getting him in the right mindset. That was better still there. We just trotted over that little log like it was a ground pole. Little tiny coopy thing. Still a little bit excited about that. I walked here because I was just sort of losing that right shoulder. We were just leaning off to the right, so I just walked so I could correct it, get him straight between my legs again, and then off we go. I love his little expression. He looks very happy to be doing the job. So I'm going back to the little yellow thing. I want less of an overjump. And that was much, much better, right? It's way less of an exciting picture. It's not exciting at all. Same thing there. But it's an appropriate level of effort and enthusiasm for such a teeny tiny little jump. And I loved how when we went over the one after that little yellow teeny jump, he sort of did some really cute little footwork there to add up and make that happen without overreacting and overjumping it. So all these were good. I love that. I love the tone that he's jumping these jumps with now. It's appropriate for the teeny tiny level that they are. Even better. Brilliant there. Good boy. And then here, so good. Oh, beautiful. Okay, yep. So that was good. That was a wrap on. So that was our warm up. Felt like I had him in a great headspace by the end of that. We were jumping with an appropriate level of enthusiasm for the size of the jump, if you could call it that, the size of the ground pole. So then we sort of migrated across the field to where it's more of like the actual course. It's not just a collection of little teeny jumps. And so we're just sort of going to cruise up and down this fence line a couple of times, picking off some jumps as we do it. And I'm just at this point, I'm just trying to get a gauge for his level of confidence, how he feels about some little bit bigger jumps. So he's very brave, very good with his footwork, happy to do the job. Little bit of an overjump there, which is fine. I mean, of course, green horses are going to overjump sometimes, but in my mind, I don't want to go on to jumping bigger things until we've lost the overjump at whatever the height is that we're currently doing. So that was totally fine that he did that, but now I would just like to sort of tone it down. I would like for him to just take a breath and to put a little bit less enthusiasm into it. And so then that was better still. And he's a great jumper, right? He sort of has like these springs in his feet, especially in his back feet. So it's great that he wants to jump with good form. I absolutely love that about him. I love that he wants to jump the jump. All those things are amazing. It's just that this horse is very athletic and he has scope to jump huge jumps. So I just want to help him sort of understand to take a breath and to sort of save that scope because he doesn't need to use it at these teeny little things. That little greenhouse that he just jumped, I know it looks so tiny and unassuming. For whatever reason, horses just hate that jump. And I would say 9 times out of 10, when I'm taking a baby horse to that one, they want to have a big old stop and gawk at it. And he was really brave about just popping right over it. Excuse me. So, what I am loving about him out here as we're sort of doing this little set up and down the fence line is that his canter feels relaxed. And obviously, he's like feeling bold as hell. So, I'm starting to incorporate a little bit of cantering to jumps. Unfortunately, we got there on a little bit of a gappier one. And so, why I'm saying that's unfortunate is because he's already a very keen, bold, sort of natural type of jumper. So, when you get there on the boulder spot, he would just love to use that opportunity to take a big old jump over whatever it is. I would love to find a little bit more to the base spot. But it's whatever. It is what it is. The horse has jumped like 2 times. That was so cute over that little ramp. I thought he jumped it in great form, but without, a huge over effort. Then we're going to canter up to this little bench, and then that was very good. So I feel like his confidence is growing. Well, not that he didn't have confidence at the beginning, but I just feel like he's up, and that's the spot I want, right to the base. And for whatever reason, we had a little trip on the other end. Good thing I wasn't leaning forward. I love his expression. He looks happy. He's looking for his jumps. He's really quite straight for a horse that's never done a cross country school before. He's happy to do the next level jump there. And also, so while I was doing this, there were a few other people, a couple of other pairs of horses and riders riding out in the field. And so it was cool because, of course, you can't pre plan these things. It just is what it is in the moment. But it was nice that there were some other people out there riding around. So I sort of got to experience him being ridden around other horses. So he's trotting and cantering around and jumping, and a couple of other horses are in the same space, trotting and cantering around, and he was excellent. He was totally unaffected by that, which was awesome. And that's just something you just don't know what their reaction to that is going to be like until you're in it. And so it was really nice to see that he was just unfazed by it. It didn't concern him in any way, and he was not sort of reacting to the other horses at all. So that was great. And that was very good too. That's the spot I would like to always find with him, right to the base. when we started warming up back over the little tiny baby set that we started with, like the steering was still a little, the shoulders were a little out to the right, and there was some drifting. But at this point, he's really just sort of settled in. He's tuned in. He's listening to me completely. Where we're going and keeping the straightness is no longer a discussion. He's just right there with me, and it feels very easy and confident. And that was very cute to that little jump. And the horse just has such a great canter. Well, he has a lovely trot too, but I am always particularly drawn to a great canter. He was a really nice mix of, obviously happy to go do the job, forward thinking, but without being hot. It's not like I'm having to use my hands or ask him to slow down a bunch. He's just really like right there with me, just sort of happily plugging along, but totally sort of self-regulated feeling, never feeling like he's like running off with you or going faster than you would intend for him to go. And I ride him at home. That was really cute. I ride him at home in the Hermspringer Duo, the D ring, really soft rubber straight bar. And for this, I put him in an egg butt snaffle with a peanut in the middle, which I thought was the right call. I mean, of course they're going to be a little more animated. You're going to have some more adrenaline when you're off the farm, and then the cross country schooling. And so actually, I thought that the egg butt snaffle felt like just the right amount of bit for him for this activity. So I was happy about that. So here's a little baby step. I mean, he was absolutely perfect. My mom literally couldn't even get the camera on quick enough to catch the approach to the first time. He just popped right up it like such a good boy. No overreaction or over jumping. So he was so good about walking up it. We did it twice, and then I thought we'd turn it around and walk down it. I always find that they're a little more hesitant to step off than they are to step up. And this is not really a hill that I'm willing to die on with any of these guys on their first cross country schooling. And if it becomes a struggle, I wouldn't say I'm quick, but in a couple of minutes, if I feel like I'm not getting anywhere with them, I have no problems with just getting off and doing it from the ground, because they learn very quickly that way. But God, he was just so perfect. I mean, literally, he just walked up to the edge. He paused for a second, sort of like acknowledging that it was there. I squeezed him and he walked off. I mean, he didn't even like jump off. There was no leaping off. He just literally just stepped off like a perfect horse. Excuse me. So then, of course, got to do it again to make sure it wasn't luck the first time. And sure enough, what a good boy. And I also just like how he's just walking around so calmly. There's a loop in the rain. He just looks totally calm and at ease to me. Sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing so much. It's very annoying. So that is the scary B-box jump that they always tend to jump with nice high knees, because it's a little bit weird looking from the front. He jumped it really well. Now we're going to a little bit of a bigger, sort of like a half roll top jump, which again, he jumped really nicely. So now we're going to go to this little yellow coop that's sort of in the corner of this field here, where the ground's a little undulating, sort of changes up and down. It's like you're in a little swale right there. And there's a lot going on behind this jump. There's a horse field with horses in it. And I think that between the ground changing and everything happening off in the distance, I just did not get him focused and straight to that jump. So we just had a little glance off the corner, which is just no big deal. I mean, the horse has literally been foot perfect this whole time. One glance off of a jump where the ground is a little challenging is no problem. So I just took a second to walk, just to let his brain just have a second. I don't want the wheels to get turning too fast and anything to get flustered. So we just sort of walked away, walked back, got really straight, picked up a trot, and he popped over it. I mean, it had nothing to do with the jump. The jump itself is very easy and small and boring. It was just about all the things that were happening around the jump. And I'm sure his rider could have done a better job of getting him his attention and getting him straight. So then I wanted to just do that one more time. I wanted to canter that sort of half roll back to that jump that he had the glance off at. So when I asked him to canter, he picked up the right lead, which was fine. I don't mind coming in the counter canter. I don't want to waste energy on leads on this because I think at this point, he's in the tail end of the school. He's getting a little tired. But he did a half change on the approach, and I did not want to approach on a how am I forgetting the word for half cantering the wrong lead? Somehow I am. It's really late. Apologies. So anyway, we did a circle to pick up the correct lead and then approach in the left lead, and he jumped it really well out of the canter. And then sure enough, no problem coming back to that little jump in the corner. Really good boy. Cross cantering, that's the word. Geez, sorry about that. I knew it would come to me. Okay, we ended with the little ditch. He was perfect, walked over it like it was no big deal. Don't even know if he noticed it. So then we came in the trot, jumped it all cute and perfect, like couldn't be any better. And then there was one sort of perfect size jump for him next to the ditch. It was just a little bit bigger than anything else I think we've jumped that day. And I thought it was just the perfect jump for him to end on. Like one of those little mushroom jumps, probably a beginner novice size jump. And I just thought it would be the perfect little encore for him to end his day on. No, if the ditch had been challenging for him and we had had to spend a few minutes there working on that, so good. Then we wouldn't have done this. We would have just ended with the ditch. But I mean, he was perfect to the ditch. That took absolutely no effort whatsoever. So I thought that he could just end with this. Here he does a really cute change. So he picks up the right lead. Then we start to turn left. And he just does a great little change there. That was so cute. And then we're coming in the canter, and we don't see my favorite spot here. It's a little bit of a gappy one, which he is so game to take that gappier spot, which makes him very cool. But he was fantastic. He did exactly what I asked him to do, so we were done with that. And I honestly, I really couldn't be happier with this horse. I mean, he was just a model of perfection of a good baby thoroughbred today. So this is just some footage of him back at the trailer getting hosed off, and then following this at the very end is just a little clip of him loading up on the trailer, which he does brilliantly. Really good boy.